Welcome, foolish mortals, to another episode of the HitchHiking Hosts Show 101. I am your host, your ghost host, West Troop, and I am back this week with another history episode. Well, where are we headed to in our time-traveling doom buggies this week? That would be back to 1957, Disneyland, of course, where we're going to talk about a ride that was in between Fantasyland and Tomorrowland. It was more Fantasyland than Tomorrowland, but that's beside the point. More about that later. I hope you brought your sailing cap, because, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the motorboat cruise. While the Tomorrowland and Phantom boats were a bust and very short-lived in the first years of Disneyland, Imagineers wanted to give the concept another try. This time the boat attraction was built on the border between Fantasyland and Tomorrowland in what was called the Fantasyland Lagoon. Arrow Development helped design the new boats, and more design time was put into the formation of these vehicles to make sure that they functioned better than the Phantom boats. The new attraction would be known as the Motorboat Cruise, which opened in June of 1957. The Motorboat Cruise's waterway shared space with the Viewliner train, which we'll discuss a few episodes from now, as well as the bridges from the Junior Autopia attraction in Fantasyland. The B-ticket attraction could hold 2 adults or 1 or 2 small kids on a bench in each boat. The steering wheel was found in the middle of the vehicle, so everyone could have access to it, even though it technically didn't do anything. There was also a pedal near the feet of the riders that actually didn't do anything either, other than make the boat's engine louder. The boats were on a track that riders followed, however the guests couldn't control the speed of their ride vehicle. There were times where 2 boats would get stuck because one was going too slow and the one behind it would catch up and cast members would have to step in. Sometimes the boats were close enough to fix, but there were times that cast members had to dive into the water to separate the boats. At one point there was even a cast member who just stood in the water to fix the problems as his job. Eventually, the system changed so that the riders could control the speed of the boat with the pedal, which helped cut down on the vehicles getting stuck along the waterway. The ride was mostly just a relaxing voyage with scenery that included bushes, flowering trees, and rocks. In 1959, some major changes came to the attraction area. The Viewliner and its track were gone. The Junior Autopia expanded its track. The lagoon that the Phantom boats were located in was now housing the Submarine Voyage attraction, and an elevated beam from the new Disneyland monorail curved over ahead. Luckily, between all of these changes, the Motorboat Cruise remained in its lagoon. Now riders could get a glimpse of some of these attractions, such as Autopia or the Submarine Voyage, while on the motorboats. In 1991, as part of an event to promote the Disney Afternoon on the Disney Channel, the Motorboat Cruise had an overlay and became the Motorboat Cruise to Gummy Glen. The new version included plywood characters from the animated show Disney's Adventures of the Gummy Bears, who were seen making gummy berry juice along the waterway. In 1993, Disneyland was getting ready to open the Mickey's Toontown area of the park. In January of that year, unfortunately, the Motorboat Cruise attraction closed for good, as its operating budget was needed for the new section of the park. The attraction's loading platform and landscape grounds soon would become an area known as Fantasia Gardens. The canopy that had provided shade to the guests that used to wait in line for the motorboats stayed and was used as shade for the nearby counter service locations or for visitors who just wanted to get out of the heat for a few minutes. And the dock became one of Disneyland's 3 designated smoking areas. In 2001, an attraction Disney Imagineers feel to be the true successor to the Motorboat Cruise, called Aquatopia, opened at the Tokyo Disney Sea Park in Japan. In 2007, the former Motorboat Cruise waterways were drained during final construction of the neighboring upcoming attraction, Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage. During this time, around 2/3 of the motorboat cruise's former waterways were filled in with landscaping, creating more of a space buffer between the freshwater-based submarine lagoon and the Green River system water of the motorboat cruises area, which is also shared with the Castle Moat, the Jungle Cruise, the Rivers of America, and the Storybook Land canals. During this time, the former tracks that were hidden beneath the green water were covered up or destroyed. In April 2007, a new dam was built and green water filled back into the area known as Fantasia Gardens. In 2009, the motorboat cruise's old dock was repurposed into a waterside dining area for the neighboring Edelweiss snacks. Edelweiss! And it's also, I had to, you knew that was coming, and is also used as one of many locations to hand out candy during Mickey's Halloween party. While you can no longer ride on the motorboat cruise at Disneyland, the attraction did have a pretty lengthy run at the park, and was fun for those who remember it. Alright, well that's the show. I'll be back with another episode very soon where we'll talk about the history of a certain Disney Parks attraction, as well as another trending topic show where we'll talk about what's going down in the Disney Parks this week. But until then, don't forget to subscribe right here on YouTube. YouTube.com/HitchHostShow. You can like the show on Facebook, Facebook.com/HitchHostShow. Follow on the Twitter at HitchHostShow. And if you want to listen to the show, or you are listening to the show, you can do so over on Podbean, hitchhostshow.podbean.com, or search under West Troop or the HitchHiking Hosts Show on iTunes or Stitcher. Until next time, don't forget to
hurry back
for the next episode. See ya.